Before we begin animating, let's quickly discuss the topic of rotation order. This is lesson 28 in your scenes folder. So we have our rig built. Now, before we begin animating, we do want to keep in mind an object's rotation order. Okay. Right now I have my rotate mode set to gimbal. To do that, you can hold E, hold the left mouse button, and notice you get to your rotate tools from here. So you can select gimbal, and this will help you to see exactly what axis you're rotating on and how the others are behaving. Another way to get to your rotate options is to double click on your manipulator, and there's gimbal. But getting right into the lesson, now it's important to determine a good rotation order because that helps us to avoid gimbal lock. Okay, so notice right now we have our rotate order set to XYZ, and you can see how quickly we'd run into gimbal lock where two axes will line up one against another. So you can see the X is about to line up in the Z direction if we were to rotate this. And that can be very problematic for us. So when determining a good rotation order, we really want to keep in mind, what is the character going to be doing? Well, in this case, being that we're animating this biped type of character, we may want the ability to rotate in the Y and then have a nice roll from side to side in the Z-axis. So in this case, we're not going to get that with this XYZ rotate order, the default. What I commonly like to use is ZXY. So to change this, if we hit Control A, can get to our attribute editor, go to the first tab, and there's the rotate order. And by default, again, it's XYZ. But if we were to switch this to, let's say, ZXY, now notice, going back into our scene, if we were to rotate in the Y, notice how the Z is now following, and we're able to get that nice side-to-side roll. Very nice. Also notice how the X is following as well, so we get a nice bend there following the same direction as we move the Y. So that might be a better solution for us. And it's not always, you're not always going to want to choose X or Z, X, Y. It also depends on the animation that you're working on. At times, I would even switch the rotate order again to accommodate whatever I'm working on. So you really want to be mindful of exactly what the character is going to be doing. Do storyboards first just to understand exactly what your character is going to be doing before you determine the rotate order. Before this character, I'm going to go ahead and switch the rotate order for all objects that should rotate to Z, X, Y. And I'm going to show you a quick way to do this. Let's go ahead and select all of the controls that rotate. Okay. We've already got the chest, but if you'd like, you can select that again to just so you can see that what this script that we're about to use does. And it's a very, very simple script, nothing much to it really. Alright, so once we have grabbed all of our controls, and we don't want to forget the back control, so let's grab that too. And once we've gotten all of the controls that will rotate, we go to our command line and type in as follows. We want to grab the X form of these objects, and we basically want to find their rotate order, so that's space dash ROO for rotate order, followed by the rotate order we'd like to switch them to, so that's going to be Z, X, Y. Okay. Once we have typed this, and we could put a semicolon to put an end to the script, we can now hit enter. Now what mine's going to do is go through all of these objects we have selected and switch them automatically to Z, X, Y for us. So if we were to go to the center of gravity control, if we were to go back to our attribute editor, notice it's Z, X, Y. If we were to go to that back control, go to its tab, first tab, notice it has changed. So it's a very convenient way to very quickly switch your rotate order, getting the X form of your object. But with that now discussed, that finishes this lesson, and we're ready to get in to the animation in the next lesson. Okay, and also I have gone ahead and switched the rotate order on the final rig file that's also within your scenes directory. But that does finish this lesson.